major hostilities between Israel and Hezbollah may have ended in late November, but many Israeli communities close to Lebanon are yet to feel any peace dividend. I-24 News travelled along the border in northeast Israel to assess the sense of security in the villages. In Malkia, we found a community in transformation. The kibbutz and several neighbouring villages were undergoing a facelift, provided by workers from the Tel Aviv municipality.
There are dozens of people here all together, and I think Malkia didn't see so much people in the last few months. So it's very touching for us personally, and for a small community as Malkia, it's very meaningful.
Itai, a community manager in the kibbutz, explained that when residents return, they will find Malkia restored, the neglect of 15 months swept away. This, he hopes, will encourage the kibbutz members to return permanently, despite the threat from across the border.
First of all, we need to understand that the 60 days are not over yet. No one knows what will happen the day after.
Okay.
It's very fragile.
At a nearby museum to one of Israel's previous wars, we find that tourists are beginning to trickle back to the area. Ido, who runs the museum, is a resident of the nearby kibbutz Dan. It's been over a year since he lived in his own home, and he knows it will take time to restore his property.
First, I need to fix my home. It's not broken or something, but it's neglected. It's the neglecting of a place that you're supposed to use things in their everyday life, and you didn't use it for more than a year.
Many evacuated residents whose homes escaped direct damage from Hezbollah fire face similar considerations. Other residents, forced to live away from the north for months, have discovered that they prefer life closer to the country's centre.
It wasn't so good here before the war. We are living in the peripheral areas. The closest hospital is at least 40 minutes away from here when we are driving quite fast. The education is not as good as near Tel Aviv. So many found out that they can live better life away from here.
Further north, on top of the hills overlooking Kiryat Shmona, we enter Manara, the most heavily damaged Israeli village on the Lebanese border. Its strategic position, overlooking the countryside for miles around, leaves it vulnerable to anti-tank missile fire.
They can shoot us from 8 kilometers away. And whatever you can see means that they can see you from that point.
Orna, our guide in the village, is an evacuated resident who longs to return.
This house belongs to a family of 2 parents and 2 children. As you can see, it was all burnt.
Her home, like so many others in Manara, was destroyed by Hezbollah fire. The Lebanese villages opposite lie in ruins, only a handful of buildings left standing. Detonations and machine gun fire sound frequently from across the border.
The fire that you now hear, it's because the Israeli army is still there and the Hezbollah are trying to come back to the village. And so they have to shoot them. So it's not a complete ceasefire, obviously.
So it won't be picked up on the mic, but what we're hearing now is repeated bursts of automatic fire from the south of Lebanon.
Through regular Zoom calls, the residents of Manara are trying to keep their community together. Orna believes that despite the physical destruction, the kibbutz is stronger now than it was before the violence. But sentiments alone won't restore the village.
First of all, we have to get rid of any chance of Hezbollah or any terrorists coming in the vicinity of our places. You cannot live on a volcano while it's erupting.
While each of the Israelis we spoke to was adamant that they would continue to make the north their home, they had no illusions about Hezbollah.
Maybe it will buy us a quiet for sometimes, but if we won't be able to solve this situation in the Middle East, nothing will change.
So do you expect another war with Hezbollah in Israel's future?
Just a matter of time.